But now we're finding out that that's not the only person. He was trying to talk Cole and O'Reilly into leaving and going back. But apparently the WWE and or emissaries, representatives, agents, if you will, provocateurs perhaps, are talking to everybody and trying to get the old gang back together again. So much so that, and we know that Tony in the meeting a few weeks ago with Talent told them that they were sending legal letters to the WWE about contract tampering. But there's all kinds of ways that you can find out when somebody's contract is up without an official of the company having to make an official inquiry. And there's all kinds of ways that you can let a guy know that, you know, boy, we sure would like to have so-and-so if he wasn't under contract to somebody else. So this seems to be the right time to play that game. New guy in charge at WWE, not the demented billionaire that everybody was mad at. Combine that with chaos backstage in the locker room and civil war in AEW and different camps, and then people saying, well, goddamn, we actually had something going, and now the whole thing may have fallen apart because of the EVPs. So this is the right time for the WWE to find out just how many of those AEW guys really want to be there now, and whether it was just they were going there because that was more palatable than putting their career in the hands of Vince McMahon at 80 years old. Your thoughts, Brian?
It's an interesting time, and when you talk to wrestlers, what they're saying is very interesting. You're not hearing too many people say, no, I would never, ever consider WWE, like you have in the past, even when they would.
Right.
You're hearing interest. And I think it's two things. It's one, some faith in Paul Levesque, whether that's well-placed or not, time will tell. And the other is, despite being generally liked by everyone, I think a lot of people, in contrast to Paul Levesque, see Tony Khan's, I don't know what you call it, behavior or just the way he conducts himself as the person in charge, and they may not be as comfortable with that, with their career in that hand, than they would maybe the hands of WWE. I think that's part of it. You know, I could say that the wrestling news this week, when looking at everyone that was reporting stuff, Fightful Select and the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported Malachi Black, FTR, and Swerve Strickland as being talents that were contacted by WWE since Paul Levesque got into power. I know there are other people. So it's very interesting. Now, everyone has a connection to have worked there under him in NXT. I guess that's part of the story too, right?
Well, yeah. And, you know, that's the thing is, a lot of these people were very happy in NXT and didn't want to go to the main roster because they wanted to work for Triple H and didn't want to take a chance on what Vince would burden them with in the way of a gimmick or a name or lack of name or whatever the case. Now that's not happening. And now that there's been 3 years of this experiment in self-rule by the inmates, they're saying Tony's melting down. There's fights and chaos in the locker room. Guys are hurt constantly because of not only the style that they all insist on working, but because of the green factor in a lot of the fucking talent. They're trying to do too much that's over their heads, trying to compete and get over. So everybody's always hurt. And they've got to be thinking now, is Tony going to have a fucking stroke? He's had the chance after chance to hire experienced people. We just talked about it earlier in the program. He didn't hire Delirious. He didn't hire Gabe Sapolsky. He hired fucking guys that already worked there to do another job so that he doesn't have to talk to all the talent. That's basically what those promotions were. It wasn't anybody new to take charge of something and get it going in the right direction or bring a new look to the thing. It was more promotions from within for guys that already aren't really experienced in what they were doing to do more of it. Or just to talk to people because Tony doesn't have time. So now it comes, if you're an aspiring wrestler, do you want to sign with and trust your career in the hands of the largest company of its kind in the world that is not going to go out of business, has guaranteed income for years to come, and is as stable as anything can possibly be, or a company that is run by one inexperienced guy that is obviously fucking needing a goddamn vacation, who has not got people in charge that can carry any of the responsibility for him if something happens to him, and whose television network has just been the victim of being the small half of a merger where new people are in charge and they're cutting costs. The worm turns quickly. And a lot of that's some wormy stuff that people are going to have to think about before they sign contracts going forward. It's not just the place where all of the wrestlers that like each other can go to have fun now. Now they actually have to perform over the long run and be a business and an ongoing concern. And that's where things have gone sideways.